personally, when I was in that place not all that long ago, where it was just like I wasn't thinking about how to do it. It was just anything like that. It was more just for me. It was like I was thinking like I just don't want to be. I can't do this anymore. Like I just think I just can't do this anymore. Like
Dad.
What?
I love you, Dad.
Oh, okay. Love you too.
Welcome back to Relatable Dads Unscripted, figuring out fatherhood one honest conversation at a time. My name is Ruel.
I'm AJ, and on today's subject, we are talking about suicide. Over 7,000 suicides across the UK in 2023, the highest since 1999. 75% of those were men. Suicide is a leading cause of death of men between the ages of 35 and 49. So this is why we had to talk about it, guys, because it affects a lot of us. And most of suicides happen, and it's men that are doing it, which was one of our biggest driving factors of setting this podcast up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're here. We're talking about it.
I suppose, we can start. I mean, they talk about that's the stats of how many people commit suicide. But obviously, if that's the amount of people that committed suicide, what about the amount of people that are affected by suicide?
And we're not talking, are you referring to the families left behind, or are you referring to...
Yeah, everyone left behind, family, friends, lovers, do you know what I mean? Everyone left behind. After someone takes their life, they leave behind a load of broken hearts. And I know from my personal experience that's awful. And it's one of the worst things because I don't know, there's no good way to die, right? But no good way to leave your family. But if you took your own life, it then brings into question of like for the family, like, why wasn't we there? What could we have done? Why could we? And obviously those questions are, there's nothing you can really do ultimately, but that makes it very difficult when you lose someone like that, because if they got run over, there's nothing you could do about it. But if they've actually decided to take...
Why did they not come to me?
Why did they not come to me? And when you've got someone who's close with you, someone that's your friend, and they just didn't come to you.
But you see, it says 75% were men. And that's a huge stat of 7,000 people across the UK in 2023 commit suicide. Like, when you said the people that are affected, like the number, I was thinking of the people that didn't actually commit suicide but have got those thoughts, and
because that's going to be much higher.
Yeah, they're feeling it. They're like on the brink of doing it themselves. That's what when you first initially said it, that's what I was thinking of, the people that
because
have
for every let's say, I don't know what the stats are specifically, but for every 5 people that want to commit suicide, maybe only 3 do, or something like half do, maybe. Other half are still kind of not sure whether they're going to or not. So that's going to be much higher, I suppose.
It's scary as well.
It is scary because it can be anyone, and I think in that, I think I've watched a couple of videos, and I don't know if you've seen it. It was on one of the social media channels, and it was basically saying that it was like videos of people like the day before.
I've seen it.
And it's like they're just playing around, and
you can see like there was. I feel we're talking about the same one. There's like they were at a birthday party. Like there's a video of the dad, and he just looks dead behind the eyes. And you don't actually notice it, and then it's only obviously in that moment you're like, oh, he's just a bit tired or what. But then the day after he's committed suicide, and you look back at that same photo and you're like, actually he was not happy. You can tell that he wasn't happy.
Everyone's laughing, and you go, and it's like it's not real happiness. Do you know what I mean?
So like one of the reasons that I wanted to set something up for men and set something up for like men's mental health as well, was because one of my mates committed suicide last year. And I spoke to him like 2 weeks before, and he was like he got me so happy about like my new job, blah blah blah. He's like, oh, that's so cool, I'm gonna get you doing this, I'm gonna throw this course at you, I'm gonna throw that course at you. And I love doing courses, so he was just like really happy for me, got me excited for the role. And then one of my friends was like, oh yeah, you're making suicide. I was like, what? You don't know anyone that I know that would have committed suicide. He's like, nah, you're a mate. I was like, who? And he said his name, and I was like, But the only person that sprang to mind, I've got friends with the same name in London, and he was like, "Yeah, your mate," and I was like, "I don't know what you mean, bro." And then it worked out that it was this person, and I was like, "Nah, that couldn't have been." Like, if you looked at his life on paper,
Yeah.
like earning well, got a missus, he used to travel all the time, and like everything. And I spoke to his best mate, and he said of the 7 days before he committed suicide, I spent 6 days with him. And we was going to the gym together, we was going to lunch together, we was going to dinner together, and I would never, ever, ever have seen it. And it's fucking scary.
Was there anything that made him do it, but like anything that was going on that you know about?
No, that's the thing. Like, I haven't delved into the details of it through his best mate, because I know that his best mate still isn't okay with it.
Yeah.
So there's no one for me to ask details from.
Yeah.
And I don't want to ask details. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I went to his funeral, and this is one of my biggest drivers. I went to his funeral, bro, and I've never seen so many people at a funeral. And he was like 30, 35, 36. I've never seen so many people at a funeral. And like, I said to Dan, I was like, I wish that he could have just been alive just to see how many people cared about him at his funeral, how many people were there to say bye to him. If he was there for that one day, he'd probably be like, what am I doing? Like, why am I doing this?
There's a lot of people there that say, they say, I think I've heard this somewhere, maybe I haven't, but if there's loads of people at your funeral, you died too soon. The less people at your funeral, there's a right time.
Unless you're just complete.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, maybe. But if there's loads of people at your funeral, you were loved, you were supposed to, you were gone too soon. Whereas if there's no one, it may be of your time, i.e. like, for example, if you're 90 years old, all your friends and your family, a lot of them have died already. So therefore, there's, maybe.
No, I've heard that.
So. Yeah, I don't know if I've seen that somewhere, I heard it somewhere. But yeah, I mean, it is mad. I've had two friends take their own life. Both not really the same situations, but both through like quite intense stress. One when I was, how old was I? I think it must have been about 10, and he was a year older than me, I think, or maybe I was a bit older. It must have been about 10. I was about 10, and this kid, he...
Alright, guys, so we've noticed in the analytics you haven't been subscribed. So we're getting a certain amount of views and we're not hitting the same amount of views to subscriptions. So please stop the video for a second, subscribe, and also on the way out, give it a like and drop a comment. Thank you very much.
He basically, he had a really rough childhood, and basically his dad, essentially, I don't know the full details, but his dad basically chased him around. He was a very abusive dude. Chased him and his mum around, and he went from hostel to hostel. And I think, from what I can understand, they actually managed to find a house, and then he just ended up hanging himself. And I remember, I remember it, you know, and there was lots of talk about, it was an accident. He was going to do, I think the coroner actually said it was an accident. I don't know how you do that by accident, but I think that it was kind of seen that he was sort of saying he was crying for help, or it wasn't going to, as you go through it, I don't know. But yeah, and I just remember that I wasn't allowed to go to his funeral, I don't think, because my mum just didn't want me to go to a funeral, particularly there's a lot of people there that were going to be upset. So I remember that one, and that one stuck in my mind a long time when I was a kid. Because in the back of my mind, my dad wasn't as aggressive as his dad. He literally chased them around, as far as I'm not aware anyway. Those details could be slightly wrong. I shall remember it. But I remember thinking, like, that's mad, like how much stress he was going through.
How old was he?
He a year older than me, so it must have been.
No, how old was he at the time?
Yeah, like it must have been like 10. Like 11, I don't know. Maybe 12 at most, I think. I'd have to check with my mum, actually. But yeah, I know for him. And then years later, my sister, she started dating someone. and I got on with him so well. Like, he was like my big brother. Really, really sound guy. And he basically had some issues with his mum, and there was some stuff that was going on there. But he moved into a house. He moved into a house, and from what I can understand, that basically that someone scammed him. So he'd moved into this house, paid all this money up front, and the electric kept not working, and they ended up finding out that I think that the house he'd moved into was not actually his to rent out. So he's now just squatting in someone else's house. And he'd used all his money up. This guy never had much money anyway. He literally just ended it all in that house. And I remember that one, the worst part of that one that haunted me for like years after, and still, if I think about it, I can still remember it like it was yesterday. It was when it was my sister's boyfriend, as I said, and the scream she let out when she found out. My mum told her, and we were sat on the stairs, bro, mate, because we'd been looking for him and trying to find out where he was. So we knew what was going on. And then my mum had to break the news to my sister, and she just screamed, and I could remember it for like months and months after. And I was really close with this guy. It was at that age where he was around my house all the time. But yeah, that one was probably, I always used to say that those two people committing suicide saved me and saved my life, because I saw the people crying at the funeral, and when there was moments where I was down and I didn't want to be here anymore, it was that made me think, I can't do that to other people.
My missus always says that it's selfish if you commit suicide, just based on the people that you leave behind. But she's like, yeah, I don't understand it. I think it's selfish, blah, blah, blah.
But they think they're being selfless. They think that they're the problem to everybody else. So therefore they want to get themselves, or they feel like there's absolutely no other way out, right? So,
but this is probably jumping a little bit in front.
Yeah.
But as much as you think you're at rock bottom, there's only one way to go from there, and that's up. So
100.
And you might think you're at rock bottom, and then something might take you down, and you go a little bit lower, and then something might take you down, and you go a little bit lower.
So true.
Then you've only then got one place to go, and that's up.
Yeah.
And that's what I wish, that you might not see it, and you might not believe that it's possible. But I wish that more people would be like, actually, I am here, but I can see a light. And I've been in really dark places where I've thought of, there is nowhere for me to go. Like, I'm like at rock bottom. There's nowhere for me to go. I can't see a light. And I was looking and thinking about it, and then like a smallest little tiny dot a mile away, like a pinprick of light, and then you're like, actually there is a light. And then you go towards it a little bit more, and then it turns in from a pinprick to like a 50p, and then it turns into, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
it's
like
literally getting closer.
Yeah, so as much as there might only be a pinprick worth of light, as long as you can see that light, you know that if you go towards it, it's only going to open up, and you might even end up having studio lights in your face because they're fucking well bright.
Do you know what though? I think it's exactly like I've said in other podcasts, that everything is temporary, and that's why I live by that now, because like you say, it is all the bad times or the good times, it's all just temporary. And so that's the thing.
Like, probably jumping again, but see, you said that you've had those thoughts, and it was the thought of leaving people behind and them crying, and you seeing them crying about you.
Yeah.
Who did you lean to, or who did you talk to, or how did you get away from those thoughts apart from the crying side of things? If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I'd say with all mental health, right, the thing is about it, right, it's never like you just go, oh, I'm fixed now, And I'm not saying I'm suicidal, but
Fuck it up.
yeah. But there are always moments where you just think, oh, can I fucking do this? Like, do you know what I mean? There's always them moments. And throughout my entire life, I've had those moments. I've grew up I've never been financially stable in my life, really, ever. You know, I've always had to, like, even like, you know, as we work as personal trainers, you're always thinking, when's my next PT? And then you get to a point, you're like, oh yeah, life's going all right. I've got like 10 PTs, and then the same day 3 are cancelled. You're like, and they don't even think about it.
Say that to new PT.
Yeah, they always say they don't realise it. They just go, oh yeah, no, I can't do this week. But for you, that's like, all right, and it crushes you.
Part of you wants to be like, what do then?
Yeah,
but then the other part, the business side of it, is they might go now, but then they'll come back in 6 months.
Exactly. Funny enough, I've got a client that left me 7 years ago. She wanted to move on her own journey, and then she's back saying, I can't do anything without you. So, which is great, but yeah. So what I'm saying is, like, there's moments.
Why isn't they all leave it? It's like they get a memo.
Yeah,
like they all send each other a memo. Like, I'm going to cancel my PT. I'm going to cancel my PT. And then it's always at the same time, and you're like, hold on, that's like
just before you planned the holiday, or
it's always, mate, it kills me. I always say to new PTs, like, for whatever reason, PT clients just leave at the same time, and
it's just one of them things. I think it's just like a part where everyone's maybe struggling. I think because what we do is seen as a luxury, even though I personally believe it's actually beneficial. Beneficial is probably you should put the money into you, like we talked about before, into you first. But coming back to what I was saying, like, I don't think you ever really get over it. They never really stop having those thoughts. And when I was younger, I used to have said this before, I used to sit in a toilet, mate, with a flipping knife to my throat and stuff. I don't really know why I felt like that. It'd be frustration more than anything. Maybe my brother had annoyed me or something, or them not. It wasn't necessarily like I felt depressed. I just felt like so angry and frustrated. And I never really knew how to deal with it. Yeah. And I use humor a lot to kind of deal with a lot of my different emotions in general anyway. And I think if you wake up and you actually, it's, you know, that saying, you have to pretend you're asleep before you're asleep. It's true. Right. Yeah, because you do, right? When you go to sleep, you have to pretend you're sleeping before you fall asleep, right? Okay. So it's a bit like, if you smile in the morning, then you fake a smile, you actually smile. If we start laughing now, fake laughing, eventually we start really laughing. So I think sometimes it's having a conscious effort to put the effort into making yourself happy. Does that make sense? So I try to wake up every day thankful that I'm here and thankful that because life can be a lot worse, and my life has been a lot worse. So, but even like you say, when I was going through situations with my divorce and stuff, there was moments there. Like, even now, I'm still going through those situations, and there's even moments now where I'm like, man, how the hell am I going to afford to pay my mortgage? How am I going to, do you know what I mean? There's always those moments constantly, and you're just like, man, it gets on top of you, like in the light, you know. And I think that's maybe why we're going to probably talk about this, but that's maybe why men tend, because we put that burden on ourselves.
Not also, women, but this is another food for thought, is that when women have problems, they have many voices to speak it to. So women will happily sit around, have a coffee, and they'll just talk woman stuff.
Woman stuff?
Yeah, like her husband's doing something, so they can talk about all of that stuff. But like, if I came around now and was like, oh yeah, Dan's doing this, Dan's doing that, blah, blah, blah.
Mate, you do that all the time.
Shh. That's why I ain't committed suicide. But like, if we, if
it feels like we shouldn't do it as men.
Yeah, women get a lot of their stuff off their chest.
I think, like you say, it is good when you've got more voices to talk to, and definitely helps to have that, be able to release and have the support from your friends and other people around you to just kind of go, look, you're cool, or if you need any help. I know that particularly, my friend Damien, particularly when I was going through my divorce stuff, there was a moment there, I was just driving down the road and I was just crying, mate. And I was just literally just crying. And then, and I was like, I'm fucking done, mate. At this moment in time, I didn't know whether because we're going through divorce, what's going to happen with my kids? And do you know what I mean? There's loads of stuff. There's loads of other extra stuff, whatever, right? But I didn't know what was going to go on. So I'm just fucking done with this, mate. I just feel like in my life, I've just had so many moments where you just get knocked down and just never ever feels like when I'm trying to stand up, you always get knocked back down again. And my mate Damien just called me, and then I was just like, he randomly called me, and I was like, no, I'm fine. He's like, and he just knew, and he was like, that's cool. Well, we'll just chat anyway. And I was like, no, I'm cool, man. I'm cool. Like, basically just try to get him off the phone. He was like, no, it's cool. I'm going to stay on the phone and talk to you. And I was like, no, you got work, bro. You're at work. He was at work and everything. He was like, no, it's cool. We're talking. He's like, what's going on? And from then on, mate, I'm just like bawling my eyes out to him on the phone. And poor guy, he's like, okay, anyway, I gotta go, mate. Now, to be fair, mate, we stayed on the phone for like an hour, and
so that's what you needed, a soundboard.
Yeah, I didn't realise it at the time. I was just like, I thought it's fine, really, but then I was just like, there was just a bit of stress. But yeah, to be fair, and that's something else that my mum was also there a lot, and my mum did the same thing, and my now girlfriend. I'd spoke to her a couple of times as well, and she also helped me out a little bit as well. And this was probably more later on, to be fair, because this wasn't just as I split. This was like weeks after as well, because there's all sorts of other stuff happening within that. So yeah, just speaking to people in general, and it was like, it does help. It does help. But yeah, I just think. We don't always do it as men, but we probably should.
And who say men need to talk more? But
this is why we've done this, right?
Yeah. No,
one of the reasons, one of the things that we want to do in this is to create that soundboard to give a community of people. And I think we've already, we've done that because we've already had messages from people sounding that out to us, saying that you guys have helped us and you guys have done this, and it's nice to get a voice from men, and it's good to see men talking. So that's already come through.
I was speaking to someone the other day, and I said, I put obviously that dad we ever had. I've watched every one of our pods back, apart from that one, because I was just like, nah, I don't want to see that again. Dad we ever had. It's on YouTube and Spotify.
But he hasn't watched it.
Yeah, you watch it though. But I was like, if my vulnerability and my me showing how vulnerable I am on camera, blah blah blah, helps one person, then I know that this podcast has been it's been a success for me. And I've said obviously the financial side of things, once we get going and financial comes in and blah blah blah, because we put in a lot of effort and time and everything else. So once the finances come in, that would be sick. But if we get a message from a dad saying, you know what, these podcasts, I used to listen to it when I was driving, they've made me a better father, or they made me not think about certain things.
Well, we've had the best. I've had messages from people saying more conscious of how they parent and stuff like that, and playing with their kids more, and we had those messages. So I mean, that's already a success.
We went to the park the other day, and then even Dan was like, "Oh yeah, come on kids, let's run around."
She's like,
that was Dan. She literally was like, "I'm gonna do it because I know that you're gonna say something to me about it." And then she was conscious to not have her phone with her and stuff like that. And I was like, well, that's helped my kids.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, mate. I mean, even in me, sometimes I think it's, so when obviously when I used to train with the kids, we'd be out doing parkour a lot. The kids have kind of got to a point, they've been through a lot of things. So I don't kind of push parkour on them so much anymore. But today, I was at the park today, Jay was teaching, and I was like, cool, should we go park? Mate, we were literally playing in the park for 2 hours, and we've gone, there's this tunnel that goes underneath the motorway, to show you later, it's quality. So me and Corey going for the tunnel, I'm chasing him down the tunnel. I'm going to post a video of it. I'm chasing him down the tunnel going, coming for you, Chucky's coming. And he's like, it's this massive long tunnel. But just things like that, running around, playing with your kids, that, mate, like we said before, that's so good for our mental health as well. But also just it's just, and I'm probably doing it more as well. I used to do it, I think when you're younger, you do it more, right? As you get older.
I think since doing this pod, it makes me so much conscious of my parenting because I'm like
judging yourself.
Yeah, I'm judging myself, but I want to live up to a standard that I'm talking. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, like I do this for my kids, I do this for my kids, and then when I go home, I'm on my phone and I don't talk to them.
Yeah.
So like, I'm more conscious now of trying to be more present with my child, with my children, than before we started this pod, because I don't want to be a hypocrite.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't want to set double standards and be like, like I'm doing this for my kids and blah, blah, blah. So I'm hopefully becoming a better parent due to this pod. And I know, bringing it back to this, I know that it's helping my mental health if I know that I'm like being a better dad.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
Talking about that, I mean, you asked me that question. You've said that you've been on that edge. So how did you talk yourself down? Because you didn't answer that.
I spoke to myself. I'm very, because I grew up as an only child, I've got a voice of reason to myself. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I'm training, I'll be like, come on, God, you got this.
Yeah.
I always like kind of shout at myself to do certain things. So at that time, I was a bit like, I told you it was just after, so it was a lot of times when I was younger, like you, when you said about like you sit in the toilet with a knife to your throat. I used to do random stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I remember like I used to punch walls all the time, used to headbutt walls all the time. I was just like, I never knew how to deal with my emotions. I used to just deal with it with anger. And remember when we were talking to Andy, he was like, as a male, it's accepted to be angry. Yeah. And it's like, I used to just be such an angry kid. Like I remember like in school, just not fighting so much, but just, I did get angry and then I'd cry through anger and then people would laugh because I'm crying and then I'd get even more angry. And then I'd just end up like red mist constantly. But yeah, as I've got older, like I attempted it once when I was probably about 16, 17.
Tempted.
Yeah. And then like I slit my wrist and that, and then one of my girlfriends at the time, like girlfriends, not girlfriend, but she was one of my like closest friends. She just rang me. She was like, "What are you doing?" Blah blah blah. And then I realised actually someone actually gave a fuck about me.
Yeah.
So that was one time. And then as I got older, when I was in the army, that was one of the reasons I left the army, because I was just like, I had an episode kind of thing around the New Year's during my Christmas leave, and then I went back and I was like, look, I need to get out of here because I hate it. I said, my words were, you either let me leave and say that I'm depressed, or I'll do a line of coke on the OC's desk, because that's how much I don't want to be in the army anymore. Yeah. So they were like, all right, cool. And then I got discharged from the army. And then when Roe came along, I was financially on my ass. Yeah. And again, when I was saying I was rock bottom, like I could not see. You know, when you think, I'm financially on my ass, but I know that in a week I've got that money coming in. Yeah. And then in 2 weeks I've got that money coming in. 3 weeks I've got that money coming in. So you know that you're okay. Yeah. Like, I was literally, like, probably when I was broke because I knew that I had so much stuff going out. Yeah. And then
that's the scary stuff, innit? You see all this stuff going out, you're like, well, there's not that much going in.
Yeah. So, and I was trying to sort things out, and I wanted to be the best dad I could be, but then financially I wasn't there. So yeah, like I was just like looking at my life insurance, and if I was to do it, and I was thinking of ways I would do it, everything. And then in the end I was like, I just talked myself out of it, and then I didn't. And now I feel like I'm so far removed from suicide. It's unreal. Like, this gives me like a lease of life, and I can put my passion and energy into this, which helps massively. Secondly, like my kids are like literally everything. So when I look at them, I'm just like, how can I do it? Do you know what I mean? So I use and I always say this to people, use your kids. Like one of my friends, his dad passed away. and he was very, very close to his dad. So I said to him, bro, this is the time where you need to use your kids. Because your son won't know that his granddad's passed. He just wants dad to be happy. He just wants to look at you, play fight with you, like be around dad. So use his energy, because he hasn't got a sad bone in his body about you, like about your pops. Like he just wants to be a normal kid and play and do that. It's like, use him. And he was like, yeah, you're right, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, thankfully he's in a much better place now.
Yeah, I think, but also that's due to talking to you as well about it, do you know what I mean, as well. But yeah, I think you do, using the kids is a great means. I think when me personally, when I was in that place not all that long ago, where it was just like, I wasn't thinking about how to do it. It was just, actually, when it was like that, it was more just for me, it was like, I was thinking like, I just don't want to be, I can't do this anymore. Like, I just think I just can't do this anymore. Like, and again, I think a lot of the time it's financially, because like I said, I've never had money growing up. It's never been like something that's just like there. So I've never really had a value for money. So I'm not really a person that's particularly like, I don't care about how much money I have or what things I have. I don't really care about that stuff. I don't buy clothes. Any clothes I wear is generally Paramount. So my own brand of clothes, and I don't care about that sort of thing. I don't care about the newest trainers or anything like that. But it's when you like you said, when you just see you look into the future and you're like, of like your bills coming out, you think that's going. And people think, because I own this home, people think, oh mate, you're loaded, you own a home. Nah, I've just got a whole lot more of a loan than you've got. Do you know what I mean? You might have a 20 grand normal loan. I've got a £450,000 loan. Do you know what I mean? It's just on your head constantly, and that locks you into somewhere. I can't just go up and go. You know, I've locked into something for 30, 40 years or whatever. And then even that alone, like because of the job I do, I don't have like, you know, like a lot of jobs when you work for someone, you've got like the pension and I don't have any of that stuff. You know what I mean? Well, so when I stop working, I don't get holiday pay. I don't get flipping sick pay. If I don't work, that's it. I'm done. Do you know what I mean? So that in itself,
the stress and the pressure,
mentally,
that's what, like, I felt like a proper failure when I like left PT and then like left being self-employed. But then my mental clarity was so much more chill, bro. Like, so when I decided I wanted to leave PT and leave being self-employed, I was going to be a mortgage broker.
Yeah.
But I couldn't get into that for other reasons. I'm a qualified mortgage broker, but then when it came down to getting a job, it was problems. So
fair enough.
So then I started working, like, because on my CV, I used to be in the army. So I started working in this can making factory, and honestly, I hated it.
Yeah.
It was such a shit job. Like, it was 12-hour shifts. The thing is, the leave was decent. Like, in a 2-week period, you work 7 shifts.
Yeah.
So you do like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday off, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, but those kind of shit, I couldn't do those shifts, mate.
And then Wednesday, Thursday the following week. So it was like 2 weeks of days, 2 weeks of nights, 2 weeks of days, 2 weeks of nights. So you knew what you were doing for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
So you could take off 2 annual leave days, and you're off for like 2 weeks. It's calm.
Right. Okay. I get it.
So in effect, it was like, but me and Dan said that year was the best year because financially, I knew I had K coming in. I was good. Everything was covered. I went on holiday bare times that year because I was just like, boom, I'm going away. Like, I love going away in it. That's like my favourite thing to do. So as soon as I've got P's in my account, I'm booking flights. So like, that was it. So we went away quite a few times that year, and me and Dan were like, she was like, that's probably the happiest bit you've ever been, because I was still doing massage on the side. Like I was nice. Do you know what I mean? And then left that job, started doing TM, and then it went back to the stress because I was self-employed. No holiday pay, no pension, blah blah blah. Pension, I think, are baggage anyway.
Yeah.
Because no one, like, they're just, well, yeah, they're not worth a grain of salt anymore. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, like, but now working at Ruel, like, I'm
Back to being that comfortable.
yeah, just I know that how much I'm getting paid every month. At the moment, it's not a great deal, but it's okay, and I've got so much downtime.
Yeah.
So it gives me a chance to do other little bits and pieces. So
Yeah, I think financially is a massive thing for us as men. I think is the reason as to why we don't want to be here anymore, because it is a big strain, and I do feel like the pressure is on us. I mean, throughout my entire relationship, my ex didn't work as such till the very last year before we split up. She didn't have a job, so I basically looked after everything. Do you know what I mean? And there were points where we were like, we were good, that for sure. In actual fact, obviously, because I did a fair few jobs and a few big jobs came in, and the last few years were decent. And then there was that time when we then decided when things like you earn more, you upgrade your lifestyle, right? And we didn't upgrade it by going out and buying expensive. We just bought a house. I mean, initially we lived in a council house, which was a 2-bedroom council house, and there was 5 of us. And when I say 2-bedroom, the entire house could probably fit in this room. It was tiny, mate. The kids had the bunk beds, and then inside, like slotted in like a sandwich, obviously, like 3 beds. And so it was hard, and we come into this, and it was like, okay, we're all right. And then it was like, well, actually, this is getting a bit difficult. She then got a job, and then obviously now, I'm doing it on my own. You know what I mean? And it's like, whew, okay, this is a whole extra thing that I have to try and figure out. Then on top of that, the mortgage decided to go up because it was the end of the term, or whatever. That jumped up by like 300 quid.
Yeah.
Mate, I can't even tell you at that moment. It was going up. That was only about, I don't know, it's what, Christmas time, and it went up, and I was like, oh my god, like, where am I going to find free just on the mortgage? Then there's other things that had gone up, and I was like, mate, like, I had to swap out the Heinz beans and start using the cheaper ones. Do you know what I mean? But it's one of them where you're like, oh mate, I'll actually, yeah. So I think it's like this, and that's why I think at the end of the day that I just constantly focus on there's good times, there's bad times. You know what I mean?
but this is a world where they need to be more teaching kids about economics, like what goes on in the world, how money is affecting this and money is affecting that.
Yeah, because money is affecting lives, like literally, like
because I feel like more financial talks within schools would make people smarter with money, and like because there's so many things like investments and stuff like that. Everyone always says, oh yeah, you need a pension, you need this and that. But I watch a lot of podcasts, and they talk more about
investment
and getting investments.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
Most people are like, yeah, I'll just buy a couple of houses and then, but there's smarter ways to make investments. But
for sure. I think the things like that though, there is a lot of financial, there is things about learning about how to do financial stuff, I think. But a lot of these things that I'm seeing on TikTok now are like, how the rich people, they live in debt, and they use the debt, and but then people start trying to do those things half-heartedly, and
then they just get it's in debt.
Yeah, it's in debt, and they don't think that if you can get out, you get 10 grand loan out, you're not paying tax on that 10 grand loan, and you start doing, and it's like that's great for the really super rich people that are trying to avoid tax, but for the mere normal person, we're in a consumer society, and I think actually what's more important than just learning how to deal with the money.
That TikTok also owns the money that you're loaning.
Yeah.
The interest that you're paying.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
He owns that.
He's doing it for himself,
Yeah.
exactly. But the thing is, I think what we've got to teach kids now is to stop being consumers to the way that they want us to be. They want us to go out and go, we need the newest shoes. We need the newest phone. The phones we all have are actually probably about 10 years out of date when they come out. The technology they've got they've already got 10 years before that. They just decide to release this one, and then this one, and this one, and this one. They've got that one there. They're not stupid. They're not going to release number 10, where they might as well release it in 1, 2, 3, and make us give it drips and drabs. And then we go, oh, I'm going to spend £2 on that one, £2 on the next one.
What, as well?
Stop behaving like that. I don't behave like that. I don't buy things for the newest stuff.
Do you know back in the day when, like, probably our mum and dad's generation, well, dad too late, but like, they would buy a car and then they'd have that car for 10, 12 years.
Yeah.
And then they'd run it into the ground. Then they'll get another car. And then I'd have that for 10, 12 years, blah, blah, blah. Now, it's such a throwaway society. Everything's like maximum 2 years, 3 years.
Yeah. And
And
new phone every year, 6 months.
Yeah, and it's like, phone companies tend to, we're going well off piece here, but phone companies, you'll notice that like 2 years comes and then the phone will start having problems. And
Yeah, some breaking and that, yeah.
Yeah, because of the throwaway society, so they wanted to keep you in that.
Of course. And that's what I'm saying, but I think it's that where the society where we got to keep the pressure is on, we put the pressure on ourselves, but the media companies are putting the pressure on us. These TikToks, these YouTube videos, they're all trying to make us buy and make us spend money.
And then it's keeping up with the Joneses.
Exactly.
Left and right, and then this person's got this.
That creates a perpetual amount of pressure on us to perform.
Yeah.
And then their pressure, when you can't keep up, is when you don't want to be here anymore. And I think that if we can curb that, I think that would automatically cut.
Well, you think it increased higher since 1999?
Yeah.
Like
when we started buying phones every week. Do you know what I mean? And that's, I think, again, financials are, I personally think financials, I think the main causes of suicide, and I could be wrong, I think it's relationship breakdown. I think it's financial stress, and maybe a smaller amount, to be honest, but of like things when you're younger, like issues when you're younger.
All right, so common triggers: relationship breakdown.
Okay, you've got it.
Unemployment.
There you go. Financial.
Loneliness.
There you go. Cheers.
And debt.
Yeah, exactly.
But this is where the NHS and GPs need to do better, because men often delay seeking help, even though over 40% had contact with GPs before taking their lives.
I mean, we all know the GPs need to do better. I think everyone watching this is like, yeah, that's ridiculous.
Because when I have been struggling in the past, I've gone to GP, and this is one of my biggest grudge bears as well. So I went to the GP and said, look, I'm struggling, I need to speak to someone. Yeah, no problem. Do you want some antidepressants? I was like, no, I want to speak to someone.
Yeah.
I don't want any drugs. And then he was like, okay, cool. Well, I'll put you in touch with blah, blah, blah. So I then made an appointment. Took half a day off of work. On the day they cancelled it. So I was like, great. So I've allowed myself to...
You've opened up.
Yeah, I've opened up. And then that got cancelled on the day. So if I was at suicide risk, like, I've just...
You're gone.
The help that I was trying to achieve, trying to reach out to, isn't there anymore.
Yeah.
So then, again, spoke to one of my friends who's a therapist. I said, look, I want to speak to someone. She said, no problem. I'll put you in touch with someone. I sent him this really long message. Didn't even use ChatGPT for it as well. I actually just sent him a message. That's what I'm saying. So I actually wrote out a long ass message, sent it to the guy. And it was on WhatsApp, I sent it as well. So he looked at it, read it, didn't reply. So I was like, I'm not actually going to bother now.
Yeah.
But there is, I'll put some, in the description, I'll put like places where you can go out and seek help, like Samaritans, BetterHelp. We're not affiliated with anybody, but BetterHelp is out there for men, for people who are seeking therapy. Yeah. And there's they're putting a lot of emphasis on that. So there's BetterHelp out there. But yeah, please, if you are in any kind of mental constraint, or you feel like, I'll happily chat to you.
I was going to say that. Look, if you're watching this and you think, and this kind of like resonates with you in any kind of way, you're a bit like, man, I'm feeling this, and reach out to us. If you don't know anyone, we would happily take a text message, whatever, however you contact through YouTube, whatever. We'll happily take a message through, and I'd say I've lost 2 people very close to me, and I don't really want to lose anyone else, I don't think, to suicide. But yeah, I think if I'm more than happy to talk to anyone, but there are other people. The second part of this conversation is we're actually going to get someone else on board to talk about mental health and to talk about other things. That's how.
So yeah, there's so within Milton Keynes and the surrounding areas, there's the Man Cave. So they're just a business basically set up for men, and there's also a female version, a lodge as well. They're also Milton Keynes.
They get lodge.
Bedford.
We get cave.
Milton Keynes, Bedford, Northampton. But yeah, there is that. There's also Andy's Man Club, which was what my friend was affiliated with, and he was trying to get them into Network Row. But there is also Samaritans, which is 24/7 helpline, Calm. But we'll put some links in our description. And please, if you are struggling at all, then speak to someone, because I'm guaranteeing you don't do it today, that light will get a lot bigger. And it might be a pinprick to start off with, but it will grow and grow and grow. And then there's only one way to go, and that's upwards.
Yeah.
So,
and just remember, everything that's good is temporary. Everything that's bad is temporary. Life is temporary. Everything is temporary. So, all the negative feelings and all the things that you think and you can't do, you don't feel like you can do something, it's all a temporary feeling. It's going to get better. It's going to be better. If you're really rubbish, it's going to get better. And also, if you're having a bloody great time and they're spending that money, there's going to be it's going to get worse at some point too. Sorry to say, but it is what it is. But I think, just speak to people and don't quit, man. I have a saying in my family. It's called "The Costas never give up," and we say it to the kids, we don't give up. So it's just something that we've always said, and so don't give up, people. Keep going.
Sweet. Well, on that note, we will end it there. But please reach out to us if any of these, because it is quite a sensitive subject. If any of these have hit home, please just drop a comment and then give us a shout, and we'll go from there.
Sweet. Thanks so much for watching.
Peace.
Dad, are you finished yet? Dad.
Yeah, man. We finished this episode now. Come on, let's go out, kids.